They are too young to drive, work in an office, or even a local fast food joint. But thousands of them work long hours in brutal conditions to make sure we eat well and on the cheap.
Tonight on NBC Bay Area Exclusive, our investigative unit spent weeks in the fields seeing how children harvest the food you eat every day. Investigative reporter Stephen Stock joins us now with what he found. Stephen.
Jessica, Janelle, we talked to children who say they started working the fields when they were 8, 10, and 11 years old. And while most of us may have had a job when we were teens, mowing lawns or at a grocery store, consider this. These kids are working a full day, up to 9 or 10 hours a day in 100-degree heat. And it's not in some foreign country. It's right here in California. It's 4:30 in the morning. And families all over this migrant labor camp are already up and heading out to their cars. Dozens of teenagers join the ride, wiping the sleep out of their eyes. But they're not heading to school or to play, but to a full day's work in the fields. A few of the other younger workers keep to the shadows, with their young faces covered in the fields. Among these workers is a boy we will call Ralph. Ralph is a veteran. He's been working in these fields 2 years already. And he's just 15 years old. As the sun rises over the Sierras, heating the Central Valley to 106 degrees, Ralph begins his 9-hour workday. Ralph is among nearly 24 children we talked to and followed throughout the 20,000 square miles that make up the San Joaquin and Sacramento valleys.
We get tired in there. Our armchair and everything like that.
It's all legal. U.S. labor law allows children 12 years of age or even younger to work the fields. This is the second year Ralph has worked the fields full time. He started working at age 13.
Who else out here has worked in the fields?
Ralph isn't the only one. At a summer school for migrant children, we found dozens of children either currently working in the fields or who used to work the fields.
How long have you worked in the fields?
Since I was in 6th grade.
11 years old.
Yeah.
Children as young as 12, 11, even 8.
Yeah, I was in 6th grade. I was 11.
How long have you been doing this?
Como 7 años.
Like 7 years, since I was 8 years old. Until now.
These kids know that there's a necessity in their family to be able to help make ends meet, to be able to put food on the table.
Norma Flores Lopez serves as the director of the Children in the Fields campaign at the Association of Farm Worker Opportunity Programs based in Washington, D.C.
From the best estimates that we've been able to get, we know that there's anywhere between 400,000 children to up to as many 500,000 kids.
The kids we spoke with say they do everything, from trimming grape vineyards to thinning peaches.
Why do you do it?
Why do I work? I want to earn money to buy my things.
I want to help out my mom and my grandma.
That's what's motivating the families we spoke with. The parents simply can't make enough money working the fields without their children's help.
Just to help me that.
With just my husband's salary, it's not enough. The two of them need to work in order to have anything and to keep up.
Children in the fields are so prevalent that just this year, the U.S. Department of Labor tried to change the law and further restrict and even prohibit some children from working in agriculture.
What they were proposing was a little too strong, a little too restrictive.
Pete Aiello and his family have owned and run Yusuki Farms in Gilroy for generations. Aiello opposed the U.S. Labor Department's proposed new rules.
I think that the current regulations as they are, I think are good and they're sound, and I think it's okay for kids that young to be working. Now,
12.
Yeah. Now, how many hours they work?
Full time.
So full time meaning 40,
50, 60 hours.
60.
6 days a week, sometimes 7.
That's more than full time if they're going a 7-day week.
After other critics lodged similar complaints in Washington, D.C., the Labor Department withdrew the proposed new rules in April. Critics also said the rules would have hurt family farms. But even Aiello admits that there are some fellow growers who look the other way and employ children 12 years old or even younger in their fields.
I know it does happen, and that's unfortunate.
The U.S. child labor law, which is pretty good, has a big gaping hole when it comes to agriculture.
agriculture.
Zema Korsen-Neff works for Human Rights Watch. She advocates ending child labor.
That allows children to work at younger ages for unlimited hours and in dangerous conditions, even though they couldn't do that same work in an office or in a Burger King.
Korsen-Neff went into the fields herself in 14 different states, speaking with dozens of children working there, some as young as 7.
I was really shocked. I think most people in the United States have no idea that children are picking their food.
Do Americans realize kids are picking their food?
I don't think they do. I think Americans are largely clueless about the labor in general that supplies their food. I think Americans are largely in the dark about what's going on. Absolutely.
Remember Ralph? It's 4 in the afternoon. He's now back from the fields, but he now has to go to a special night school provided for migrant children. He's just entering his freshman year of high school.
I want to go to college.
What do you want to study in college?
Border Patrol.
Ralph's mother has the same dream for him and her other 2 sons, to keep them from following in their father's and grandfather's footsteps.
We don't want them to have lives like us. To drop out of school because they have to work? Well, no. This way they'll go to school and be something in life.
8:15 at night, as the sun is getting ready to set, Ralph arrives back home after school. 9 hours in the grapevines, another 4 hours hitting the books. He's ready for bed and rest.
I just eat and go to sleep.
Tomorrow, Ralph will get up and do it all over again.
It's like too hard working in the fields, in the sun.
No break, no vacations, and he's not even old enough to drive a car.
Now, we want to make clear that almost every young person we talked with in this story told us they were born here, making them U.S. citizens, and none of them worked on small family farms. We reached out to a dozen other grower organizations, food processors, and producers to get their views on this issue. None of them would comment. Janelle, Jessica?
Stephen, thank you. Certainly eye-opening. And if you have a tip for our investigative unit, give us a call at 888-996-TIPS, or you can send us an email to the unit@NBCBayArea.com.